governance leader. So we have started corporate governance in previous lectures. Till now, we have covered corporate governance codes. Chairman, CEO should be different person. Non-executive director should be independent. At least half director should be non-executive director. Executive director should be re-elected every 3 years. There should be regular board committees, and those committees meetings should be formal based on agenda, and minutes of the meeting should be recorded. Actors should implement internal control system. Not only they should implement, they should review internal control system. And directors should communicate on regular basis to shareholder. And then we discussed there are 4 types of board committees: nomination, remuneration, audit, risk committee. What are their roles? Who could be their members? We have discussed. We have discussed 4 roles of non-executive directors: strategic role, scrutinizing role, people role, risk role. And we have discussed a few other topics: induction program, CPD, retirement by rotation, and board structure, single tier, 2 tier. And we have covered one question, that is lump. So let's move forward. Moving further in corporate governance. What else we need to cover in corporate governance? Let's discuss. So corporate governance codes we have discussed generally, but the corporate governance codes have been defined relating to 5 main areas of the company. Areas on corporate governance. The corporate governance codes have been defined for 5 main areas of the company. Our corporate governance covering 5 areas. What are the 5 areas corporate governance codes covering? There are some codes that are relating to directors. There are some codes that are relating to directors' remuneration. There are some codes relating to accountability and audit. Some codes covering relations with the shareholder. And some codes are relating to relations with institutional investors. Institutional investors. And these are 5 areas of corporate governance. What are the codes relating to directors that we have covered so far? There should be at least half non-executive directors. Non-executive directors should be independent. The leader of non-executive director will be chairman. The leader of executive director will be CEO. Directors should be re-elected every 3 years, and that re-election should be by rotation. There should be 4 types of committees of directors. Newly appointed directors must have induction training. There should be CPD arrangements for refreshing knowledge of the directors. And directors, board structure could be of 2 types, single tier or 2 tier. Even single tier, even 2 tier, no any individual or any group of individual should be having dominance in the company. So relating to directors we have covered so far. There are some codes relating to directors' remuneration. Some codes relating to directors' remuneration. What are the codes relating to directors' remuneration? There should be a remuneration committee. There should be a remuneration committee of 100% non-executive directors. Mean executive directors should not be member of remuneration committee. And what's the role of remuneration committee? To define independent remuneration policy of the company and assessing the performance related pay of executive directors. Defining independent remuneration policy of the company and assessing performance related pay of executive directors. Why they need to assess? So that they will see whether they are eligible for any bonus or these are codes relating to directors remuneration. According to corporate governance code, whatever the remuneration policy remuneration committee is going to set, that policy should be a fair and balanced policy. Remuneration policy should be fair and balanced. Fair and balanced mean they should avoid paying too much high to any of the directors. Avoidance of paying too high to the directors, because if they are paying, company is paying too high to the directors, there will be some allegation from the shareholders. Not only avoidance of paying too high, there should be avoidance of paying too low. Fair and balance mean avoidance of paying too high as well as too low. Because if company is paying too high, there will be allegation from the shareholder. Why you are paying too high to the directors? And there should be avoidance of paying too low, because if company is paying too low, there will be problems. What problem could arise? Company will not be able to attract competent directors. Company will not be able to retain competent people within the company. Company will not be able to motivate competent people in the company. So to maintain the attraction, retention, and motivation of the directors, you should not be paying too low. And to maintain the confidence of shareholder over the company, you should not be paying too high. Remuneration policy should be fair and balanced policy. And these are codes relating to directors' remuneration. When remuneration committee is setting remuneration policy, especially of the directors, they need to consider directors' reward package properly. And there are different elements of directors' reward package. What are the elements of directors' reward package? Basic salary, performance related pay, pension, and perks. Perks mean benefit in kind, mean other benefit. There are four components of directors' reward package, and while defining remuneration policy, they need to consider all the component of reward package. There should be a mixture of all the component. Basic salary is a fixed pay that is based either on monthly or yearly basis, and if any of the person is having more experience, more qualification, or performing a higher job role, company normally pay more basic salary. At lower job role, less experience, less qualified people, for those there is less basic salary. So it depends upon qualification and skills. There should be performance related pay. And there are two types of performance related pay: bonus and share option. Bonus company pay in cash form against short-term targets. in a cash form and against short-term targets. Short-term mean yearly targets, monthly targets. Share option, not in cash form, company pay in share form. Mean company will allot a share to the directors and share option is against long-term targets. Sometimes company pay share option to the directors to maintain their loyalty, to maintain their retention with the company because being a shareholder, they will consider best for the company as well because they are also the owner. But it is performance rated. Performance rated means directors can achieve by meeting a certain target. It could be relating to sales, target could be relating to profit, target could be relating to controlling cost, target could be relating to increasing share price of the company. But if they are meeting that performance target, they will be getting bonus share option. Otherwise, there will be no performance pay. They will see what? Only basic pay. Pension is another long-term benefit that company provide at the age of retirement now. And there could be policies of the company, either only company will contribute every month some amount for the pension that will be pulled up, added to the pension account, and at the age of retirement, what is in the pension account, directors can take up. Or there could be policy director will also contribute some amount from their pay as a pension. Multiple of double or multiple of five company will also contribute. Everything will be pulled up in an account at the age of retirement. Directors can take up. But this is a long-term benefit, not a short. Why company need to offer pension? Again, to maintain retention of the directors within the company for a long period of time. And there could be some other benefits in kind, perks mean other facilities, other benefits that company provide to directors. These could be accommodation. These could be traveling. These could be medical. In traveling could be company car, company helicopter, or jet. That normally big company provide to their CEO, to their chairman. So according to corporate governance codes, while setting remuneration of the directors, all the components of reward package should be considered. Their pay should not be based only on fixed element. Basic salary is a fixed element. Their pay must be having some variable element. Variable element means relating to performance as well. Because if they're having bonus performance rated pay, they will perform better. If there is no performance rated pay, they will not look for, they will not move towards good performance of the company. They will just do things whatever they are doing because they are getting their pay. There is no issue with that. But performance rated pay will encourage them, will motivate them to perform more, to put more efforts towards the performance of the company. And this pension should not be short term, this should be long term. Why? To maintain loyalty and retention of the directors. And these things are relating to their personal life. If company will pay these things, they can avoid conflict of interest. They will be making a decision in best interest of the company because company is showing a care for them. But if these things company is not providing, obviously to meet these extra personal life expenditure, might be they will involve in conflict of interest if they are not managing their personal life from their fixed pay. So these are the codes relating to directors' remuneration. Let's move towards a question. Tomato Bank. Tomato Bank, there are two requirements of the question. Requirement A for 10 marks and requirement B for 10 marks. Requirement A of the question. Criticize the performance of Tomato Bank's remuneration committee Criticize mean we need to provide argument against negativities. So criticize the performance of Tomato Bank's remuneration committee in agreeing Mr. Wolf's reward package. Mean they have set reward package of Mr. Wolf. Who is Mr. Wolf? We don't know. So there is information how they have set the remuneration of Mr. Wolf. So we need to criticize their performance. There are 10 marks. 10 marks. We need to answer this part in 5 paragraphs. We need to discuss 5 criticism at least. What is the requirement B? We don't know yet. Let's read the scenario. Attempt requirement A, then we will move towards what is requirement B and attempting. So 5 years ago, George Wolf was appointed Chief Executive Officer of Tomato Bank, one of the largest global banks. Mr. Wolf had a successful track record in senior management in America, and his appointment was considered very fortunate for the company. Analysts rated him as one of the world's best bankers, and one directors of Tomato Bank looked forward. Other directors of Tomato Bank looked forward to his appointment and a significant strengthening of the business. So they are appointing a new CEO, Mr. Wolf, as a successful, reputed banker. One of the factors needed to secure Mr. Wolf's services was his reward package. So obviously, if they are attracting a highly successful person into their company, they need to offer a good reward package. Prior to his acceptance of the position, Tomato Bank's remuneration committee, comprised entirely of non-executive, received a letter from Mr. Wolf saying that because his track record was so strong, they could be assured of many years of sustained growth under his leadership. In discussion concerning his pension, however, he asked for generous non-performance related pension settlement to be written into his contract. And he's saying, I am a very successful person. My track record is very good. So in my reward package, please include pension as well. That it should be non-performance related. Settlement to be written into his contract so that it would be payable whenever he decided to leave the company. Mean at the time of retirement or at the time of leaving, he can take that, subject to a minimum term of 2 years. And regardless of his performance as the CEO. Mean even if I want to leave after 2 years, I should be entitled for pension. Well, pension is a long-term benefit. Why company offer pension? To maintain retention, loyalty of the directors with the company. And here, if they are setting pension into remuneration of Mr. Wolf for 2 years, they are not considering the short-term and long-term elements of the reward package properly. Firstly, the person whose remuneration is going to be decided, he should not be involved in setting his own pay. And if remuneration committee is agreeing with Mr. Wolf, this means Mr. Wolf is involved in setting his own pay. He is influencing his own pay. And if they accept his request like that, they are not independent. Not directly, but indirectly, Mr. Wolf himself is involved in setting his own pay. So that is not an independent remuneration policy. So one paragraph we can discuss. Second, there are different components of reward package. Some are fixed, some are variable. Though pension is a fixed element, not variable, but it is a long-term benefit. While Mr. Wolf want to be settled into his reward package on a 2-year basis, while long-term means 5-year or more. And if they are approving his request, means setting long-term benefit as a short-term based on his influence, So this is again not a good remuneration policy set by the remuneration committee. Two paragraph elements and person should not be independence. Such was the euphoria that his appointment about his appointment that his request was approved, and they have approved. Furthermore, in the hasty manner in which Mr. Woff's reward package was agreed, the split of his package between basic and performance rated components was not carefully scrutinized. Mean they haven't considered all the element of a reward package. Might be they haven't included any performance rated element. They have just assigned him fixed element like basic salary and pension. So one point we can make for elements of reward package. It should be a mixture of fixed as well as a variable. There should be some performance rated pay to motivate the directors, to influence the directors so that they should focus on performance of the company because their pay is also linked with the company performance. There is no performance rated pay, they will not put extra. They will not be motivated towards performance of the company. Everybody on the remuneration committee was so certain that he would bring success to Tomato Bank that the individual details of his reward package were not considered important. When he joined the business, there will be so much profitability for the business, so much success for the business. Whatever he wants, that doesn't matter. In addition, in addition, the remuneration committee received several letters from Tomato Bank's finance director, John Tamba, saying in direct terms that they should offer Mr. Woff whatever he wants to ensure that he joins the company and that the balance of benefit was not important as long as he joined. Remuneration committee should comprise of all non-executive directors who should be independent. Executive directors should not be part of the remuneration committee because they need to set remuneration policy of the company, including executive director, manager, and other employees. And if executive directors are involved in remuneration committee operations, they are involved in setting their own pay. That policy will not be independent. And here, finance director influencing the work of remuneration committee, indirectly, he is also involved in setting remuneration policy. So again, this is not independent remuneration policy if they are setting reward package with inclusion of, with voice of finance director, because finance director is an executive director. Mr. Woff, whatever he wants to ensure that he joins the company and that the balance of benefit was not important as long as he joins. Two of the non-executive directors on the remuneration committee were former colleague of Mr. Woff and told the finance director they would take his advice and make sure they put a package together that would ensure Mr. Woff joined the company. The non-executive director of remuneration committee should be independent. Independent means they should not be having any close relation with executive directors. Otherwise, their decisions will not be independent. They will compromise their objectivity. And two of the non-executive director of remuneration committee are former colleague of Mr. Woff. Mean they are having past colleague relation with Mr. Woff. So might be they will be favoring Mr. Woff in setting his reward package. So this is also compromising independence of the remuneration committee. So we can make one more paragraph. So one paragraph we have discussed. Mr. Woff is involved himself. Second, pension, long-term benefit, Based on his request, they have said short-term reward package elements were not considered properly. It should be a mixture of variable and fixed, and seem like there is no performance related element. And finance directors involved, also affecting independence. And past colleague relation is also affecting independence of the remuneration committee. So we can answer in 5 paragraphs, but we need to read the complete scenario. Once in post, Mr. Wolf led an excessive, aggressive strategy that involved high growth in the loan and mortgage booked finance from a range of sources, some of which proved unreliable. In the fifth year of his appointment, the failure of some of the sources of funds upon which the growth of the bank was based led to severe financing difficulties at Tomato Bank. Shareholders voted to replace George Wolf as a CEO. He put the company into risk. Company suffered so much losses because of his aggressive, risky strategies. So shareholders have kicked him out. They said he had been reckless in exposing the company to so much risk, in growing the loan book without adequately covering it with the reliable sources of funds. And he recklessly involved company into risky projects. That's why company has suffered. So they have kicked him out. When he left, the press reported that despite his failure in the job, he would be leaving with what the newspaper referred to as obscenely large pension. That was based on 2 years. He's leaving after 5 years. He took that pension. Some shareholders were angry and said that Mr. Wolf was being rewarded for failure. When Mr. Wolf was asked if he might voluntarily forego some of his pension in recognition of his failure in the job, he refused, saying that he was contractually entitled to it, so would be keeping it off. He didn't refuse to receive that pension despite company is in financial difficulties, but he took his pension because his was contractual right to receive that. So requirement A for 10 marks, done. Requirement B for 10 marks. Explain with justification the components of more balanced package of benefit that should have been used to reward Mr. Wolf. His reward package was not properly balanced. There was no performance related pay. Even pension was set on short term rather than long term. So you need to explain with justification that a more balanced reward package could save the company from Mr. Wolf's risky strategy. 10 marks. What we need to do, there are how many reward package elements are there? Basic salary, bonus, share option, pension, and benefits in kind mean perks. What we need to do, we need to put these 5 headings. Define what is basic salary, that is a fixed pay that company pay in monthly or yearly basis. It's based on qualification, experience, competence. Higher the competence, higher the pay. Lower the competence, lower the job role, lower the pay. And for Mr. Wolf, obviously, if company have attracted him from other bank, so they might offer a high basic salary. but that is a fixed element. Then we will put the heading bonus. Bonus is a performance rating that is based on meeting certain targets. If directors are meeting targets, they will get a bonus. Otherwise, they will not be eligible to get bonus. And bonus normally companies set into reward package to motivate the directors towards good performance. And they will be receiving this pay against company good performance. And they will try to perform better. They will put more efforts towards performance of the company because with the increase of performance, they will be getting increase in pay in form of bonus. And might be in reward package of Mr. Wolf, there was no bonus element included. That's why he adopted risky strategies without any cover. If there was bonus, might be he avoided some of the risky strategies to get their bonus. So it should have been included into his pay. Then share option. We will explain what is share option. Sometime instead of paying a cash as a compensated pay, company offers share of the company to the directors. By offering share to the directors, company can maintain a loyalty as well as a long-term retention of the directors with the company. By having share holding in the company, directors sometimes avoid conflict of interest. They make decision in best of the company and shareholder. And while setting reward package of the Mr. Wolf, we haven't seen any of the share option included into his reward package. If it had been included, might be he avoid some of the risky strategy and move towards more less risky strategy with some of the cover so that he can maintain performance as well as position of the company. Pension. What is pension? A long-term benefit that company normally provide to their employees at the time of retirement. Vary company to company according to company policy, but it's a long-term benefit. Long-term mean normally company provide at the age of retirement, or long-term mean after 5 years or more. As remuneration committee set this pension on the request of Mr. Waugh for 2 years, i.e. short term. So this provided a golden parachute. This provided a golden parachute to Mr. Wolf. Whenever he will leave, even after 2 years, he will be receiving this large amount as a pension. His future is secure. That's why he didn't consider best future for the company and involved into the risky strategies. If they set pension as a long-term benefit, he might pursue long-term strategies in best interest of the company rather than short-term risky strategies. And benefits in kinds, we need to define what are benefits in kind that company normally pay to their employees, especially on the higher level, there are more perks, at lower level, there are lesser perks. So there is no information about these perks, whether these were provided to Mr. Wolf or not. These three we need to link with the scenario mode. Bonus, share option, and pension. 10 good marks. 10 good marks. So after class, try to read answer of this question and then attempt. By reading, we'll be getting some points, we'll be getting some idea how to answer it, how to link every heading with the scenario. So let's move forward. So corporate governance codes has been defined relating to 5 areas of the company. Some codes are relating to directors that we have discussed so far. Some codes are relating to directors' remuneration that we have discussed now. There are some codes relating to accountability and audit. Accountability and audit. And these codes we will discuss in risk area. There are 3, 4 chapters on risk, and we will discuss these there. Some points of accountability and audit we have already discussed. What are the accountability and audit related codes? Directors should implement internal control system in the company. Not only they should implement, they should review internal control system. And to review internal control system, they must appoint internal auditor. To oversee financial matters of the company, there should be audit committee. What are the roles of audit committee? Those are codes relating to accountability and audit. There should be a risk committee whose role is to define a risk management strategy. And what is the risk management strategy? Those are codes relating to accountability and audit. But we will discuss in more detail in future. There are some codes relating to relation with the shareholder and relation with institutional investors. Directors need to communicate company matters with the shareholders and institutional investor on regular basis. Or at least once in a year, they must communicate company matters with the shareholder and institutional investors, where at AGM. They need to resolve any concern of shareholder and institutional investors to keep them happy. Because if they are not happy, they will withdraw their investment. And if they will withdraw their investment, company will be. So that's why directors need to communicate company matters with them on regular basis, or at least once in a year must communicate at AGM. If they are having any concern, you need to listen and resolve to keep them happy. What does it mean by institutional investors? Institutional investors, foreign investors, banks. Banks. What is the difference between shareholder and institutional investors? Shareholder purchase the share from stock exchange. Both are investor of the company. Both buy company shares. But shareholders are individual. Institutional investors are other organization who buy different company shares for investment point of view. Institutional investors are organization who are having money of other people. And that surplus money they invest into different companies to generate return. Who could be institutional investors? Bank, where people are depositing their money, but they do not withdraw on the next day. So what a bank do? They take some money from deposit accounts and invest in other companies and generate return. Who could be institutional investors? Insurance companies. What insurance company do? They receive insurance premium every year from you, especially life insurance. When they will pay you back? At your death or at the time of maturity, probably after 20 years. So for 20 years, what they will do with that money? They invest in other companies to generate return. Who could be institutional investors? Pension fund providers, who are receiving pension funds from your pay from company when they will pay at the time of retirement. So what they do with that money till the time of retirement? They invest in other companies to generate return. Shareholders are individuals, while institutional investors are organization that also invest into company shares for getting return. Who are institutional investors? Banks, insurance companies, are pension fund providers. The purpose of shareholder investment is to get a return. While institutional investors are having a dual purpose of investment. Because normally these institutional investors are government or semi-government organization. And their investment is having a dual purpose, first to generate return, and secondly, they are having purpose to promote any industry. If any of the industry that is necessary for country economy point of view, and private people are not investing in that industry, they invest in that industry to promote the industry. Not only they will be getting return, they are helping the industry in its promotion. Because if they will invest, private shareholder will also be attracted to invest in that industry. And might be that industry is important from economic point of view. Economic point of view mean they will produce something from the economy. They will provide employment opportunities for the economy. So you got some idea who are shareholder, who are institutional investors. So what the directors need to do, they need to communicate with them on regular basis. At least once in a year must communicate with them at the time of AGM, annual general meeting. Call them. And if they are having any concern, you need to resolve them on timely basis, on priority basis, because they are the owner of the company. You are using their investment. So you need to keep them happy. Okay, from here, we are moving towards two small topics. Those are shareholder activism and institutional investors intervention. Who are institutional investors? Detail is given here. There is a topic called shareholder activism. What is meant by shareholder activism? Active participation of shareholders in company affairs. Shareholder activism is active participation of shareholder in company affairs. Normally shareholders are considered as a passive stakeholder. Passive means they are not involved in the running of the company. They are not involved in a management of the company. But sometimes they play active role. Sometimes they play active role. And when they are playing any active role, they are participating in company affairs. So that is called shareholder activism. Where shareholder play active role in the company affairs, making positive use of voting rights at AGM. They vote for the appointment of the directors. They vote for the appointment of the auditors. When they are using their voting rights at the time of AGM in appointment of directors, in appointment of auditor, they are performing active roles. Where they perform active role, engagement and dialogue with directors of investee company if they are asking any question, they are raising any concern with the directors for any issue, they are participating actively in company affairs. Where else they play active role, paying attention to board composition. Who should be the directors of the company, who should be the CEO, who should be the chairman. These people are selected through shareholder voting. This means they are playing active role in affairs of the company. Presenting resolution for voting the important decision of the company, the important plan of the company must be approved from the shareholder. And if shareholder approving any of the policy of the company, that is called resolution. So when they are approving policy, passing resolution, they are playing active role in the company. And requesting an EGM. EGM conducted once in a year. But if shareholder want to discuss certain important matters with management along with other shareholder, they can request management to call EGM. EGM stands for Extraordinary General Meeting. EGM stands for General Meeting, that is once in a year. But if shareholder want any other meeting during the year, that could be called EGM, extraordinary general meeting. Mean if they are requesting to call to arrange EGM against any issue, so they are playing active role in the company. So what is shareholder activism? Active participation of shareholder in company affairs, where they play active role in gaining their voting rights, especially in time of appointment, reappointment, removal of auditor directors. In case of any dialogue with the directors against any issue. In case of appointing the directors, auditors, presenting a resolution, mean passing a resolution at EGM, or against any issue, if they are requesting or calling EGM, they are playing important. There's another topic called institutional investors intervention. What is it by institutional investors intervention? Active participation of institutional investors in company affairs. As institutional investors, investment is having a dual purpose, not only return, promotion of industry as well. So their involvement in the company is even more as compared to share. Where they play active role in the company, there are so many areas where institutional investors play active role in the company. I mean, except these five, there are so many areas where institutional investors are involved within the company. What are those areas? They involve in the strategy making of the company, in preparing long-term strategies of the company. Because these are also other organizations whose motive is not only to generate return, motive is to promote industry as well. So they evaluate a company strategies, whether company preparing strategies in a long-term best interest of the company and industry or not. If company is lacking preparing long-term strategies in best interest of the industry and a company, they intervene. They ask questions, they involve themselves because they want to consider best for the company and best for the industry. They play active role in operational performance, like if company is not performing better, mean company performance is poor, they ask question. They try to highlight the areas where company is performing bad so that company can improve. Because if there is nobody asking about your poor performance, you will not be bothered to improve it. In case companies are not performing better, they intervene, they highlight, they ask for the areas where why company is not performing proper, and they recommend a solution to the management how these areas can be improved. Institutional investors intervene in acquisition and disposal plan of the company. What is acquisition? Business growth. Mean expanding business. There are two ways of business growth. One is organic growth and other is acquisition growth. What is organic growth? Growing business through self-constructing business units. Mean we have bought our land, we have built a building over there, we have implemented the system, we have appointed the employees by ourselves, and then we have created a new business unit. It is organic growth. We know everything because we have built this from scratch. What is acquisition growth? Acquiring already existing business in the industry, which is quick. Organic or acquisition? Acquisition is quick because within a day you can create your business unit by acquiring other firm. But you need to do just offer money. But acquisition growth is quick, but it is high risky because the business that you are acquiring, not only you are acquiring that business, you are acquiring their problems as well. if that business is running successfully, there is no reason for his owner to sell it. There could be some problems. That's why his owner is selling his business. And if those problems you are unable to tackle in future, this can even destroy your existing business. So if business is growing through acquisition, institution investors intervene. Why you are growing through acquisition? Why not organic growth? Why? Because acquisition growth is risky. Through organic growth, you can provide more employment opportunities in the economy. Through acquisition, you are not providing any employment opportunities. Employment opportunities will be same. Might be you will redundant some of the employees in future. What is disposal? Selling business unit. Instead of growth, you are moving towards shrinking business unit. Why? When we sell our asset, when we are in financial crisis, to resolve the financial crisis, we sell our asset. So they intervene. Why you are selling your business? Why you are shrinking your business instead of growing? They intervene when business moving towards a high risky strategies like acquisition. Because their motive not only getting return to promote industrialism. Institutional investors intervene in remuneration policy as well, like if company is paying too high to the directors, while company performance is not that much high. They intervene why you are paying that too much high. Because this will demotivate the shareholder confidence. Through this kind of a high remuneration policy, shareholder will not be attracted towards this kind of company because company performance is not matching with the remuneration of their management. If company is paying too low, they intervene. Because if you are paying too low, you will not be able to attract a good mind into the business. If you will not be having good mind, you will not be achieving efficiency, effectiveness in their business. You will not be moving towards a high performance. To achieve high performance, you need good mind in the business. And good mind you can attract by paying them enough pay. So they intervene in remuneration policy of the company. They intervene in internal control of the company. Internal control mean policies, procedures. If company internal control mean system is poor, they intervene to maintain a good system in the company. Because if company is having a good system, then a company can move towards high performance. With a poor system, you cannot achieve high performance. They intervene in succession planning. What is succession planning? Meeting future human needs of the company. Planning for future human needs of the company. Succession planning means planning for future human needs, human resource need of the company. This is the responsibility of nomination committee. Like if in a future company director or CEO is going to be retired, company need to arrange, company need to train any other person to fill his position. This is called succession planning. If your CEO or chairman retire and you are having no person to fill his position to perform like him, this can destroy your performance. So if company is moving towards succession planning, mean training lower level people so that when there is a vacancy at upper level, we can replace people from lower level to upper level. So they intervene in succession planning as well. They intervene in social responsibility. What is social responsibility? Social responsibility. Company is a separate legal entity, mean artificial person in a society. They should behave similar like human being in the society. Like if you are not considering good for other, you should avoid bad for others. It's better if you provide some of the benefits to the society. Provide some charities, donation, employment opportunities, because this will build a good repute for the business in the society And by having a good repute, you can attract both investors as well as customers. And if companies are not performing social responsibility properly, mean they are not building their good repute in the society, so institutional investors will intervene. Social responsibility also include controlling pollution. Because if you're not controlling pollution, if you are polluting the environment, this will also affect your image. This will not only affect your image, affect your customer, your investor as well. Institutional investors intervene in a failure to comply with relevant codes, like if companies are not complying with corporate governance codes, companies not complying with law regulation, they will intervene. Because if you are not following laws, codes, ultimately your distribution will be cancelled. This will also affect your reputation in the industry. Because those companies who are following good corporate governance codes, following laws and regulations, shareholder feels secure to invest in them. If companies are not following codes, not following laws, they will intervene. They will help the company to make sure law, regulation, and corporate governance code should be followed. So, institutional intervention mean where institutional investors intervene into company affairs in strategy making, in operation performance, in acquisition and disposal plan, in remuneration policy, in internal controls, in succession planning, in social responsibility, and in compliance with law regulations and corporate governance. Because their investment is having a dual purpose, not only generating return as well as promotion of industry. So their areas of intervention are more as compared to shareholder, because shareholder is having only one purpose, that is return, generating return. They don't need promotion of industry. But they want company should make more profit so that they can give us more return. Society, government will see. It's not our responsibility. But company need to perform some social responsibility to maintain our repute in the society. Okay, let's move forward. We need to cover a long question, but before moving to long question, let's discuss a small topic difference between AGM and EGM. AGM stands for annual general meeting. EGM stands for extraordinary general meeting. It is legally required. Company must conduct an AGM once in a year. What's the purpose of AGM? To present annual reports of the company to its members, mean shareholders. Annual reports. What does include annual reports? In annual reports, company need to include financial statements along with audit report. In annual report, company need to include chairman, CEO statement. In company, chairman and CEO will make their statement in the annual report, mean they will explain from how long they have been associated with the company and during the year what they have done in best interest of the company. They need to write a statement that should be included into the annual report. Annual report also include director's statement. Director's statement mean committee's statement. Mean all the committees, nomination, remuneration, audit, risk, they need to include their statement into the annual reports. Mean they need to explain who are their members, what are their role responsibilities, and what they have performed during the year in best interest of the company, in how they are performing their role. In annual reports, company need to include governance statement. Governance statement mean what are the corporate governance codes that company is following? They need to prepare a report on them and include in annual reports. In annual report, company need to include CSR report. CSR stands for corporate social responsibility. Mean if company is performing any social environmental responsibilities, they need to include the report into annual report. And the purpose of AGM is to present annual report to the shareholder. AGM must be conducted once in a year. At least company once in a year must communicate with the shareholders. What is extraordinary general meeting? That is not mandatory. If during the year company want to discuss certain matters with the shareholder, they can arrange an extraordinary general meeting. AGM is conducted once in a year. AGM could be more than one, could be 5, 6, or could be 0, because they are not mandatory. So AGM must be held once every calendar year, legally required mandatory, and separate resolution for each issue. Mean on certain matters you need to approve policies from the shareholder, and approving policy from shareholder is called resolution. And before conduct of AGM, they need to send invitation, mean notice period of AGM to the shareholder, and that notice period should be 21 days before the AGM. Mean 21 days before AGM notice period is required. While for EGM, the notice period is required 14 days before the meeting. And company need to conduct AGM once in a year. And the gap period between one AGM and next AGM should not be more than 15 months. It's not necessary like this year you have conducted AGM in March, so next should be in March. No, it could be in March, April, May, but the gap period should not be more than 15 months. And company need to conduct its first AGM within 18 months of company incorporation. It's better if after a year, but within 18 months of company incorporation, mean company birth, first AGM must be conducted. And after that, every year once, but the gap year should not be more than 15 months. All shareholders must be notified and entitled to attend. What's the purpose? Annual accounts mean annual reports, and directors, auditors appointments will be made on the AGM through shareholder voting. But main purpose is to present annual reports to the members. AGM, no set timetable. Company can call anytime. Even can call the very next day any other AGM. It is not mandatory. If there is no AGM, fine, no issue. Doesn't require. And separate resolution for each issue. Notice period should be 14 days, not 21 days like AGM. And all shareholder must be notified and attend. And agenda dictated by need, mean the purpose of AGM is predefined to present annual reports to the shareholder. If you are calling AGM against any issue, you need to set the agenda, mean purpose of the meeting, why you are calling. And that agenda, mean purpose, should be communicated to members when you are providing them notice period, mean invitation. So that they should come with the prepare mind, okay, for this issue, we are going to attend the meeting. So that issue should be resolved within that. If the agenda purpose is not predefined, they're having no clue why we are going to attend the meeting. Some might will not attend, other might be coming to the meeting with the empty mind. So issues will not be resolved in one meeting. It will be delayed in deciding the issues. So this is the difference between AGM and EG. What is proxy voting? What is proxy attendance?
It's in we have a meet and
Marking attendance
yeah.
of your classmate in his absence is called proxy attendance. In the similar manner, if any of the shareholder is not attending meeting, he can ask any other person to vote to get voting right of him instead of him. When a company send a notice period of AGM to shareholder, they also send a proxy voting form. Like if you are unable to come on the AGM, you can nominate any other person who can vote on behalf of you. So voting on behalf of any absent shareholder is called proxy voting. Mean shareholder can get their voting rights even in case of his absence by nominating any other person through a proxy voting form. So proxy voting system is implemented to ensure that shareholder who is unable to attend AGM where resolution will be proposed and voted can be still make their opinions heard. Let's take a break. After break, we will cover a long case study on institutional investors intervention and we'll move forward.
Bigyan mo kami ayos सारे हम खाएंगे मैं क्या नहीं चाहिए मैं कुछ चाहे चाहिए ऐसे हम लोग लेने में तो हमारे काम कर लिया है मैंने क्या कोई नहीं करेगी दाल हमने हाँ है ना नेट नहीं चलता saya akan tarik masuk baru saja urus saja Very sad. Nó bị lao chè gãy thì thời gian nào thì cái gãy thì gãy đi tôi mà sửa sai phải là sao rồi cái giờ mà ở Việt Nam là đi sinh hoạt như giờ sáng đi khỏi này hiểu કાલે પેલું યાદ રાખજે કદાચ કાલે આપણે હું તને ફોન કર્યા મારો મેસેજ આવ્યો તો પેલું પૈસા ટ્રાન્સફર કરવા 15,000 હા 15,000 હા હા કાલે આપણે સુટેક્સ નો એક્સરસાઇઝ છે કાલે આપણે કાનો પરમ દિવસે આપણે બેવાની વિડિયો સ્ક્રીન મને તો શું નહીં કે મિનિટ સીરિયસ લાવવાનું શરૂઆત છે तो क्या कर पहले से आगे सीख रहे हैं तो जितना समझते नहीं बता ना कि मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा करने पर छोड़ी थी सीखे ना पहले क्या कहते हैं हाँ क्या कहते हैं કારણ કે અહીંયા આગળ છે ને મારી ઇન્કમ ટેક્સની સાઇટ ઓપન તો કરું છું પણ 26 CS સાઇટ ઓપન નહીં થતી હું ઓપન કરવા જાઉં ને તો મને ડાયરેક્ટ છે ને એના મેં બતાવી દેશે બીજી વાર એના આગળ એટલા માટે ડાઉનલોડ તો કરવાના છે મોકલી આપ પાછા આજે જ મોકલી આપું જોઈએ તો વાંધો નહીં એ લોકો કઈ પ્રાર્થના કરે શાંતિ માટે પ્રાર્થના કરે હા કોઈ નહીં આજે હું કોલેજ આવ્યો છું યસ હું કોલેજ છે આઈટા પ્રોજેક્ટર તો બનાવે પ્રોજેક્ટર તો બનાવે ટીચર બ્રેક 15 મિનિટના બ્રેક પર કરે પણ આ બધી ખાલી કોલેજ છે ખાલી હું એક બીજા જણા સ્ટુડન્ટ છે સ્ટુડન્ટ It's an endless relation. You had like again. ઠીક છે કોઈ વખત તો થતું હોય ને કે મુશ્કેલ થતું હોય હા રાતના માની ખાય તો છે મારે that means કે એટલે જેથી કેમ પેલું અને મસ્તી વાળી ચલવી જા કોઈ જા એમ જગ્યા તામાંથી ખીચવાય ને તામાંથી ભૂલી ગઈ છે બાકી ડ્રોઈંગ મને કાલે તો ભૂલી ગઈ તે 12 વાગે જાગી ગઈ પાછી જાગી પછી પાછી 2 કલાક તમે ભૂલી જાઓ મારી સાથે તમે ભૂલી જાઓ બસ તમે ભૂલી જાઓ મારી સાથે મારું ઊંઘવા નાટક નહીં થતું ભાઈ મારી બાજુ ઊભી છે ને તો હું પોતે જ જાઉં છું મારું કામ એમને એમ રહે છે હું ઊભી જ જાઉં એની બાજુમાં એને બોલાવતા પછી કોને કે કાચ મારા પગ દબાવતો હું ઊભી જાઉં પછી એને જાગતી રહી જાય છે દબાવ મારા પગ દબાવ પાપા યાદ કરો છું હા 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 પછી કેમ ખાઈ લે મને કે ખાઈ લે તો તને પૂરી દેવાય કે બાથરૂમમાં ખાઈ લે ચલ ચલ તને પૂરી દેવું ચલ ચલ એમ કહે મૂકે ને કે નીચેની પાર્ટી તઈ અમને કે નીચેની પાર્ટી ખાવાનું એમ કે સેમ હા હા ક્લાસ પછી મારો 10 વાગે 9 વાગે અને 2 અને બસ આવે 10 વાગે એ એમ ગયા શનિવાર જઈ ગયેલો ગયા શુક્રવાર હા છેલ્લી બસ છે ને છેલ્લી બસ એટલા વાગે જ આવે છે એટલે શું છે કોઈ બસ 6 થી 9 6 થી 9 હા પણ દિવસમાં એક જ વખત આવવાનું ને અઠવાડિયામાં એક જ વખત આવવાનું હમ એવું છે એ કામમાં अच्छा तो ये गर्मी मोटे हमें पड़ेगी ज़्यादा तो रापर से तो ले जा उसमें वापर भी ये नो प्रॉब्लम से नहीं जा रहे लोग तो पर खाली से ना पप्पा का पेल कोई नहीं का ये लेकिन इन पर फीचर है ना फिल्टर ये खाली करेंगे नहीं है अच्छा हाँ हम्म तो ये चल रहा है बाकी हाँ कंटिन्यू में रहे बाकी आलू का कैसे जवान है आलू का साल चलता चाहिए मॉडल लेने कैसे जवान है हाँ साल बच्चा से का काय बच्चा नहीं तो काय तो हाँ ये लोगों ने किसी को रजा तो मन हाँ नहीं खा सकता 5 days भी करो पर कैसे कुमार तो भी सिर्फ डाउनलोड करिए ना ये डाउनलोड करने आपको हम एक्चुअली હું અહીંયા કરું છું ને તો પેલું એરર આવે છે એનઆરઆઈ વાળી હા તો હું તમને છે ને શીટ મોકલી આપી આપના મેલ પર તમારે તમે જે મને મોકલીને કરી આપજો હું તમને નામ મોકલી આપા કે આના આના છે જેના મને ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ લાગે ને કે ભાઈ આનું જોઈ લેવું છે તે મને મોકલી આપજો એટલે બે ત્રણ જરૂર જોઈ લો એ જો એક તમે જે મોકલી આપો ને ફાઇલ એ અહીંયા મારા સોફ્ટવેરમાં ઇમ્પોર્ટ થઈ જાય ને તો મારે પણ ટેન્શન નહીં એમ ઇઝીલી મારું કામ પતી જાય એટલા માટે હા 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 રવિવારે મોકલી આપજો ને વાંધો નહીં હા હું કઈ તમે કેવા અત્યારે આગળ ઘરના કામ જ ચાલે છે હા બીજે છે આપી ક્યાં તો હું કાલે કાલે છે ને હું અત્યારે પેલાને મેસેજ કરી દઉં છું પપ્પા કાલે બિલ લેતા આવજો બરાબર ને હા પેલા કેવું છે અ, શાંતિ ના ના હું કોલેજ છું અત્યારે હા ત્યાં હારા હારા હજી મને પૂરતા વાર છે પેલી જિંદગી ડીલ રેડી છે લઈ જશો કાલે હું પેલા પંચાલ ને પણ કહી દઉં છું એ તમે કઈ થયું એમાં એવી હાલત છે બધું બધું હાથે જ છે તમારું પોતાનું પણ બાકી છે કે સીએ નું હા હા એની ની આપણે જ કે આ નહીં મળતા બરાબર હા હા બરાબર છે હા, પણ મારે બે પીસી લઈને બેસવું પડે એક પીસી પર ઇન્કમ ટેક્સ નું કામ ચાલે અને એક પીસી પર જીએસટી નું કામ તમે એને જીએસટીઆર તમે એને જીએસટીઆર વંદો મોકલી આપો એટલે એચઆઈ નું કમ્પ્લીટ થઈ જાય તો પરચેસ ની એન્ટ્રી નું કામ વેઇટ કરો હા તો હું કહી એને પછી એમ થાય કે એને જ્યારે ફાઇનલ કરવાનું ને ત્યારે એની બધી એન્ટ્રી થઈ જાય એટલા માટે કદાચ એવું કરતો હોય.
SBL, strategic business leader. So we have covered shareholder activism, mean active participation of shareholder in company affairs. The areas where shareholder actively participate in the company, and institutional investors intervention, mean the areas where institutional investor play active role in the company. And the areas of institutional investors intervention are strategy making, operational performance, acquisition and disposal plan, remuneration policy, internal controls, succession planning, social responsibility, and compliance with law, regulation, and corporate governance codes. So let's move towards a question. ZPT. CPT. It's a long case study. In fact, this is a 50 marks question. Previous question, the first question LUM was for 25 marks. Then we covered 20 marks question Tomato Bank. Now we are moving towards 50 marks case study. And by practicing these 25, 50 marks question, we will move towards 100 mark case study. That will be our final exam. So before moving to this question, ZPT, let's discuss a big corporate scandal in accountancy and auditing industry. That is Enron scandal. Have you heard about Enron scandal? Enron was an energy producer company in the USA. In 2001, while preparing financial statements, director made a fraud in the financial statement. They omitted $7 billion liability from the financial statements. While preparing financial statements, they omitted $7 billion liability from the financial statements. Why? To show strong position of the company. Because if assets are more, liabilities are less, company will be having a strong financial position. So this will help to attract more investors towards the company. And if investors are attracting to the company will be able to sell their shares at high price. Mean company share price will become more because there will be demand of company shares. Through good results, investors demand company shares. And if demand is high, share price goes up. What happened? Before issuing financial statements, director bought company shares at low price. And they were involved in this 7 billion liability omission so that after issuing financial statements, when share price will goes up, they can share those shares at high price. This Enron company auditor were Arthur Anderson. Arthur Anderson. And at that time, there were big 5 firms in the world. Out of those big five, Arthur Anderson was one. They audited financial statements of Enron company. They knew financial statements is having omission of $7 billion liability, but they said in audit report financial statements give to and fail. I mean, they were also involved with the fraud. So when company issued its financial statements, its audit report, bank who leased some of the asset of the company, they saw the financial statements and they checked asset has been increased as compared to previous year, but lease liability is not there. So they realized there is something wrong. They disclosed these facts in the public and it became headline in the newspaper because Enron was a big corporate giant in USA. Not only Enron was operating in USA, they were having their customer, they were having their suppliers all over the world. So as they disclosed the fraud in financial statements, it became headline. Shareholder try to withdraw their investment. How they can withdraw their investment? By selling shares. I mean, there was supply of shares, there was no demand. So company share price dropped down. Company become bankrupt. And through any investigation, it was highlighted that auditor were also involved in the fraud. Audit firm Arthur Anderson faced some legal actions from the legal bodies. And since then, their registration cancelled, and this big five firm Arthur Anderson eliminated from auditing industry. And this was a big scandal that disturbed not only the economy of USA. In fact, this scandal disturbed the economy of whole world. Thousands of employees redundant by the company because company become bankrupt. So this is a Enron scandal that we should be aware of being a accountancy student. And this case study, ZPT, is similar to this Enron case. What's the requirement of ZPT required? Because of their large shareholding, institutional investors are sometimes able to intervene directly in the company they hold shares in. And where they intervene, we know. Strategy, performance measurement, acquisition and disposal plan, internal control system, remuneration policy, compliance with law regulation. So we have discussed. So being a large shareholding, institutional investors sometimes intervene in company affairs. The requirement A1 for 6 marks and A2 for 6 marks. A1, explain the factors that might lead institutional investors to attempt to intervene directly in management of the company. I mean, you need to explain the factors where company intervene directly in company affairs, where institutional investors intervene directly in company affairs. I mean, this is a straightforward part. What are the factors? Strategy is a factor. Performance measurement is a factor. Remuneration policy is a factor. Acquisition and disposal plan is a factor. Internal control system is a factor. Succession planning is a factor. Compliance with law regulation is a factor. Means straightforward, we need to explain 6 points. Means small 6 lines. Mean where institutional investors intervene in company affairs. Requirement A2 for 6 marks. Construct the case for in favor, case against. So construct the case for institutional investors attempting to intervene in ZPT after the first result restatement was announced. Mean when ZPT announced the first result restatement, institution investor must have to intervene in company affairs. What was the first result restatement? We don't know. What is a ZPT? We don't know. So let's read the case study so that we can answer part A too. The 2009 results presented to analysts, the chief executive of ZPT, a global internet communication company, announced an excellent set of results to the waiting audience. Chief Executive Clive Shue announced that compared to 2008, sales had increased by 50%, profit by 100%, and total assets by 80%. The dividend was to be doubled from the previous year because profit has been increased by 100%. He also announced that based on their outstanding performance, the executive directors would be paid large bonuses in line with their contracts. His own bonus as chief executive would be $20 million. And he said, my bonus will be $20 million. So when one of the analysts asked if the bonus was excessive, Mr. Shue, isn't that too much? He reminded the audience that the share price had risen 45% over the course of the year because of his efforts in skillfully guiding the company. He said he expected the share price to rise further on the result announcement, which it duly did, because the results exceeded market expectation. The share price rose another 25 to $52. And as I am guiding the company skillfully, and due to my management, share price is also increasing. So 20 million bonus is nothing. 3 months later, Clive Shue called a press conference to announce a restatement of the 2009 results. This was necessary, he said, because of some regrettable accounting errors. Oh, there were some accounting errors in previous results. So we are going to restate the results. This followed a meeting between ZPT and the legal authorities who were investigating a possible fraud at ZPT. And some authorities are investigating whether it is error or fraud. He disclosed that, in fact, the figure for 2009 were increase of 10% for sale instead of 50%. 20% for profit instead of 100%. 15% for total assets instead of 80%. This means everything is having error. Error could be in one of the account balance rather than in everything. For total assets, which were all significantly below market expectation, the proposed dividend would now only be 10% more than last year instead of doubled mean 100%. He said that he expected a market reaction. Mean this restatement will be having some reaction from the market to the restatement, but hope that it would only be a short-term effect. But don't worry, it will be a short-term effect. I will take care of it. The first questioner from the audience asked why the auditor had not spotted and corrected the fundamental accounting errors. Because auditor check financial statements and they express opinion. If there were accounting error, why auditor haven't highlighted it? And the second questioner asked whether such a disparity between initial and restated results was due to fraud rather than accounting errors. Mr. Shue, error mean there could be error in any of the account balance. But our results are massively dropped down. So this looks like fraud rather than error. When a journalist asked Clive Shield if he intended to pay back the $20 million bonus that had been based on the previous results, this means you will also pay back your bonus of 20 million that was based on that result, because results are not like that. Mr. Shu said he did not. I have enjoyed that bonus now. I cannot pay back. And by listening this statement, I cannot. The share price fell dramatically upon the restatement announcement. Shareholder tried to withdraw their investment because it's a fraud, not cash. So the share price fell dramatically upon the restatement announcement, and because ZPT was such a large company, it made headlines in the business pages in many countries. Later that month, the company announced that following an internal investigation, there would be further restatements, all dramatically downward for the year 2006 and 2007 as well. And those effects will be reflected in current year financial statement. This will affect even the results into more worst. So this caused another massive selling of ZPT shares, resulting in a final share value the following day of $1 that he was expecting. How much? $52. Because there is a supply of shares. Shareholder want to withdraw their investment. How? By selling shares. Nobody want to buy shares. If there is more supply, no demand, prices goes down. That's why company share price goes to $1. So this represents a loss of shareholder value of $12 billion from the peak share price, and shareholder lost $12 billion with the reduction in share price because they bought at high price. Now the share price is $1. Clive Shue resigned, and the government regulator for business order an investigation into what had happened at ZPT. Because this was a big company in the economy, like Enron. The shares were suspended by the stock exchange. The share trade has been suspended by the stock exchange. A month later, having failed to gain protection from creditors in the courts, ZPT was declared bankrupt. Debt. Nothing was paid out to shareholder, while supplier received a fraction of the amount due to them by selling company shares. Some non-contestants were required by the competitors, but all ZPT 54,000 employees lost their job, mostly with little or no termination payment. Huge unemployment, investor loss, employee loss, economy loss. Because the ZPT employees pension fund was not protected from creditors in any external company, the value of that was also severely reduced to pay debt, which meant that employee with many years of service would have a greatly reduced pension to rely on in old age, and there was no even pension scheme for the employees. The government investigation found that ZPT had been maintaining false accounting records for several years. This was done by developing an overly complicated company structure that contained a network of international branches and a business model that was difficult to understand. Subsidiaries, sub-subsidiaries, joint ventures, associates mean complex business structure. In a complex business structure, things cannot be highlighted easily. That's why it was easy for Mr. Shu to involve in fraudulent financial reporting. Whereas ZPT had begun as a simple telecommunication company, Clive Shu had increased the complexity of the company so that he could hide losses and misreport profits. In the company's reporting, he has substantially overestimated the value of a future customer supply contract. Even the figure based on estimation was also overstated. The investigation also found a number of significant internal control deficiencies, including no effective management oversight of the external reporting process and a disregard of the relevant accounting records, mean company were not following accounting standard while preparing financial statements so that they can overstate results. In addition to Mr. Shu, obviously Mr. Shu alone cannot make this kind of big fraud. There could be other persons involved, like other directors involved, especially accounting, finance department, because they are preparing financial statements. If figures are too much overstated, they could also be involved. So in addition to Mr. Shu, several other directors were complicit in the activities, although Shazia Low, a senior qualified accountant working for the financial director, had been unhappy about the situation for some time. Mean other directors were also involved in the fraud of overstatement of results, and finance director senior qualified accountant Shazia Lu, who prepared financial statements, she highlighted issues to the finance director sometime. She had approached the finance director with her concern, but having failed to get the answer she felt she needed, had threatened to tell the press that future supply contract, customer supply contract value had been intentionally and materially overstated. The change in fair value would have had a profit impact. Mean he threatened, I will speak in the press regarding these overstatement. So when her threat came to the attention of the board, she was intimidated, pressurized in the hope that she would keep quiet. She finally accepted a large personal bonus in exchange for her silence in late 2008. She was awarded a large bonus against her silence. The investigation later found that though Shazia Lu received some bonus, she was also involved in the fraud. Shazia Lu had been continually instructed against her judgment to report figures she knew to be grossly optimistic. Mean she was having a pressure from top management to overstate the results. When she was offered a large personal bonus in exchange for her silence, she accepted it because she needed the money to meet several expenses relating to her mother, who was suffering a long-term illness and for whom no state health care was available. That's why she accepted the money as a bribe. The money was used to pay for her life-saving operation for her mother. Means she haven't enjoyed that money. She spent that money on life-saving operation of her mother and also to rehouse her in more healthy environment. If she have bought a big bungalow, she bought why? Provide a good environment for her mother. Means she haven't enjoyed that money for herself. She was innocent. Shazia Lu made no personal financial gain from the bonus at all. Means she haven't spent that money on her personal shopping, whopping. All the money spent on her mother. The money was all used to help her mother. But her behavior was widely reported and criticized in the press after the collapse of the company. Whether she was innocent or bitch, she was a bitch because she saved her mother with compromising families of 54,000 employees. She was ethically, she was not innocent. Being a professional, it's our ethical duty. If we are finding anything wrong, we need to disclose. If we are not disclosing, we are not working ethically. Being a professional, it's our duty. We shouldn't consider any personal interest. She needed money for her mother. But this is personal interest, not a professional interest. We should work in professional interest. So the investigation found that the auditor, JJC Partnership, one of the largest in the country, I mean Big Five, Arthur Anderson, had its independence compromised by a large audit fee, but also through receiving consultancy income from ZPT worth several times the audit fee. In ZPT was their biggest client. They were receiving huge income from this client. Because ZPT was such an important client for JJC auditors, it had many resources and jobs entirely committed to the ZPT accounts. JJC had, it was found, knowingly signed off inaccurate accounts in order to protect the management of ZPT, and their own senior partners engaged with ZPT accounts. Mean they knowingly signed wrong financial statements, they approved wrong financial statements as accurate. Mean they were also involved in the fraud. That's why now we are having big four firms rather than big five. That big five eliminated from the whole world just because of one wrong report. Designed just one wrong report. And the firm eliminated from the world. 5-6 years back, in a court case, it was decided Arthur Anderson were innocent because they were under pressure, they were income pressure. That's why they involved into the fraud. But now that Arthur Anderson cannot come again to that position. Big five, the largest firm in the world, removed throughout the world just because of one wrong report. Okay, so after the investigation, JJC other client gradually changed their auditor because they are also fraudsters. We appoint auditor to check financial statements. They are also involved in the fraud, to whom we can rely. So their other clients also changed their auditor, not wanting to be seen to have any connection with JJC. Accordingly, JJC audit business has since closed down. This caused significant disturbance and upheaval in the audit industry as well. Because investor confidence on the auditor is also gone. Because ZPT was regarded for many years as a high-performing company in a growing market, many institutional investors had increased the number of ZPT shares in their investment portfolio. There were so many institutional investors who have bought company shares to get high return. When the share price lost its value, it meant that overall value of their fund was reduced, and some individual shareholders demanded to know why the institutional investors had not intervened sooner to either find out what was really going on in ZPT or divest ZPT shares. And why they didn't intervene? Why they didn't withdraw their investment? Some were especially angry that even after the first restatement was announced, the institutional investors didn't make any attempt to intervene. Because if they intervened after first result announcement, they could put the company into a stable position. The worst position arises when company announced second restatement relating to previous year. Because after the first announcement, they could intervene in strategy making of the business, like defining future of the business, like they could help the management to prepare future strategy of the business, how things can be improved. Like we can call shareholder, we can discuss the matter with them. So we can maintain their support, and by maintaining shareholder support, company would have survived. What was the reason behind the restatement? Internal control failure in accounting errors. So they should have intervened in at that time to identify why there was error. What were the weaknesses in internal control? And they could help the management to highlight those issues, to overcome those issues, and provide a confidence to the shareholder like we have resolved the issue. In future, these things will not happen, to retain the shareholder and to maintain company position. In future strategy of the company, they could intervene, and in internal control system, they could. And the main shareholder confidence was lacked when Clive Shoe didn't pay back the $20 million bonus. Because that was the stamp there is a fraud rather than error. He overstated the result just to get his bonus. Not only him, other directors as well. So they could have intervened institutional investors in remuneration policy of the company, because the bonuses are based on performance. If your performance is not like that, 100% profit, 80% assets, 50% sales, then you are not eligible for getting $20 million bonus. They should have intervened to call back the bonus from Clive Shoe. And to call back that bonus amount would help the company to survive it. But they didn't intervene. So these were the areas where they could have intervened after the first result announcement. If they intervene in these areas, company could have survived. And this is our requirement A to construct a case for in favor. Institutional investor should have intervened after the first result restatement. Let's see. So some were especially angry that even after the first restatement was announced, the institutional investors didn't make an attempt to intervene. One small investor said he wanted to see more shareholder activism, especially among the large institutional investors. Even there was no shareholder activism. Sometime later, Mr. Shu argued that one of the reasons for the development of the complex ZPT business model was that it was thought to be necessary to manage the many risks that ZPT faced in complex and turbulent business environment. In why I created the complex structure to manage business risk. And now he's explaining some points in his defense to maintain his repute, to repair his repute in the industry. He said that a multiplicity of overseas offices was necessary to address exchange rate risk. A brief challenged by some observer who said it was just to enable the ZPT board to make their internal control and risk management less transparent. Whatever you say, this was to make it less transparent so that you can make fraud. I mean, nobody's believing on his words now. So, because of the large shareholding, institutional investors are sometimes able to intervene directly in company affairs. They hold shares in. Explain factors, mean this is straightforward part. We can explain 6 areas where institutional investors intervene, and construct the case for institutional investors attempting to intervene in ZPT after the first result restatement was announced So we need to provide 3 paragraphs of 2 marks each by linking with the scenario, and that we can discuss like in preparing future strategy for the company, how company can survive in the industry. They must intervene in internal control system, like the result restatement was due to accounting errors due to non-compliance of accounting standards that is relating to internal system. So they must intervene to highlight what was the issue in internal control system, to highlight the weaknesses, help the company to overcome these weaknesses, so that those implementation should have been communicated to the shareholder to retain them. And they must intervene in calling back the 20 million bonus, $20 million bonus from Cliveview that was based on past results rather than the actual results. So the remaining requirement of this question, requirement B, C, we will discuss in future. But in future, we will not read the whole case study. We'll just discuss the requirement because we know the story now. So let's move forward. Let's move towards a small topic called disclosures. Disclosures. Every company need to prepare their annual reports. What is in the annual report? We have discussed financial statements, chairman, CEO statements, director statement, governor statement, CSR report. Means company can disclose their matters to the external world. How company can disclose their matters to the external world? Through annual reports. Mean company need to disclose their matters to the external world. External world mean mainly shareholder, because you are using their money. They are the owners. So you need to disclose how you are managing the company, how you are performing within the company, how you are using their money. And there are some mandatory disclosure that a company must disclose to the members through annual reports. But there could be some voluntary disclosure that if company wish to disclose, they can. Mandatory disclosures that are legally required must be included in the annual reports. But there could be some voluntary disclosure, like if company wish, they can provide even more information in the annual report to satisfy the shareholder, to meet a transparency. I mean, we are more transparent, we are honest, we are open. There is nothing hidden. To create good image about themselves, like we are not only disclosing mandatory, we are disclosing even more than required, because this will create more confidence of investors over company management. So what are the mandatory disclosure that must be in the annual reports? Chairman and CEO statement, it is a mandatory disclosure. Business review mean committee's statement. Business review mean committee's statement, mean every committee will provide its statement, mean how we are performing, how we are participating in company affairs. Business review mean they will explain their statement, mean activities they are performing relating to business. The accounts mean financial statements. Governance mean corporate governance statement, mean which corporate governance codes you are following. Either you are following UK corporate governance codes or USA stock exchange or any other country. AOB, any other business mean if business have invested somewhere else in any of the property, in any other company, mean if business is generating any income other than their normal business activities, that is any other business that you can disclose. And the stock exchange listing rules, this will cover under governance. I mean, these are the mandatory disclosure that must be provided in the annual reports. Except these mandatory, company can provide some voluntary disclosures. What could be voluntary disclosures? company can provide information about their risk management system. I mean, what are the business risk we have identified, how we are controlling those risks, how we are monitoring those risks. Company can provide a risk management statement in the annual report to maintain even more confidence of investor. Operation review company can provide a report, a statement regarding detail of their business operation. Mean how we are manufacturing the goods, how we are performing environmental responsibilities, how we are managing environmental better. Company can provide social and environmental information. If company is performing social and environmental responsibilities, they can provide a statement as a voluntary disclosure. And even how the chief executive, chairman, or director performance is measured, mean how they are performing, how they are receiving bonus based on performance, what they have performed against which they have received any kind of bonus. Company can provide even more detail about it as a voluntary disclosure. So what are the mandatory disclosures? Chairman CEO statement, business review mean committee's statements, the accounts mean financial statements, governance mean corporate governance statement, any other business. What could be the voluntary disclosure? Risk information, operation review statement, CSR reporting, chief executive review reporting. Why company need to provide voluntary disclosure? I mean, what could be the benefit of providing voluntary disclosures? If company providing voluntary disclosure mean beyond mandatory, this will create a good image of the company in the society, or they are providing more information to the investor to make their investment decision, and through this company will be able to attract more capital, more investment, because you are more open. Not only you are providing mandatory disclosure, you are also providing voluntary disclosure about business operations. Company can use voluntary disclosure as a marketing tool to create good image in the society, especially CSR report. Mean how we are considering best of the society, how we are considering best of the environment. If you provide report on that, this will create good image in the market. This will work as a marketing tool to attract more customers, because nowadays customer prefer to buy products of those businesses who are performing more ethically, who are considering social environmental responsibilities seriously. Providing voluntary disclosure will help to improve good public image, repute. Providing voluntary disclosure will help the investors in making a decision, because they are having more detailed knowledge about company operations through voluntary disclosures. And providing a voluntary disclosures, company can meet transparency. Transparency mean openness. Mean there is nothing hidden. We are open to the general public. We are disclosing everything regarding business management. Mean there is no personal interest. We are fair. So what are the advantages of voluntary disclosures? This will help to create a good image in the society. Through good image, company will be able to attract more investor, more capital. Company can use voluntary disclosure as a marketing tool to move competitor customer to your business. Voluntary disclosure will provide more information to the investor, especially to the shareholder, and this will help in investment decision making. And providing more voluntary disclosure will help the management to meet transparency, openness, integrity. Expansion of disclosure beyond annual reports. So company can disclose things about their business in annual reports. What are the other areas where company can disclose things about their business? I mean disclosure beyond annual reports. Company can disclose things on its website about its company can disclose on its website. If there is anything new coming into the business, you can put on your website, on your social media pages. But this, they are informing the world about their business, what we are doing, what is new in our business. Company can disclose through press release. Press release mean newspaper. Company can disclose through management forecast, mean company can prepare their future plan and they can produce. They can send through letter or they can post on their website. Or company can arrange any of the seminar where company can call some of the business analyst and ask the business analyst to provide information about the company, to talk in best interest of the company, to talk positive of the company. So disclosure beyond annual reports mean where else company can disclose things other than annual reports through press release, through management forecast, through analyst presentation, through company website or social media pages. So this chapter 4 we have covered. Chapter 3 remuneration we have covered. Moving towards chapter 2. We have covered role of nomination committee. What is the role of nomination committee? What is the role of nomination? To appoint, reappoint, and remove directors. To balance the board. Balance the board means if executive, non-executive are not equal, they will balance the board. To balance the skills in the board. If any skill is lacking in company board, like IT related knowledge person is not there, they will appoint IT expert director, mean balance the skills. To arrange induction training for newly appointed directors. To help the company in succession planning. These are the role of nomination. What is the role of remuneration committee? To define a fair and balanced independent remuneration policy for the company and to assess performance related pay of directors. What is the role of audit committee? We have discussed our list to oversee financial matters, review company financial statements, internal control system, financial strategies, financial policies of a finance director, checking or monitoring quality of work, independence of both internal and external auditor, making recommendation to shareholders regarding appointment, reappointment, removal, and fee of external audit. What's the role of a risk committee? To prepare risk management strategy for the business. What is the risk management strategy? To identify risk, to prioritize risk, to control risk, and to monitor risk. So we have discussed 4 roles of 4 committees. We have discussed role of non-executive director, strategic role, people role, risk role, scrutinizing role. Now we are going to discuss role of chairman and role of CEO. What is the role of chairman? He is responsible for leadership of the board, mean he is a leader of the board. His role is to run the board. Run the board mean making sure whether executive, non-executive, they are preparing company strategy with a combined effort, mean there are no clashes with them. Whether board meetings are conducted on regular basis or not. Whether board meetings are formal or not. Whether the agenda for meeting is predefined or not. Whether the minutes of meetings are recording properly or not to share with the absent members. Chairman is also responsible for ensuring that directors receive accurate, timely, and clear information. Meaning, if any of the member is absent on any of the board meeting, he will share board minutes with those absent members so that they must be aware about what the decision board have made in previous meeting. Chairman should ensure effective communication with the shareholder. Mean he is the internal person in the company who is available for shareholder. Like if any time shareholder visiting the company, they want to discuss any matter, to whom they will see shareholder. Because CEO to run the company, He is always engaged outside the company with the customers, with suppliers, with bankers. But chairman run the board internal matters. The chairman should also facilitate the effective contribution of NEDs. He will ensure whether NEDs are contributing in strategy making of the business or not. They are working freely, not in the pressure of executive director. They are challenging executive director decision properly. Chairman set agenda of board meeting, not only set agenda, he chairs the board meeting. The chairman should hold meetings with NED without executive presence to assess CEO and executive director performance. And in a company, there should be a senior independent non-executive director. Mean company should appoint any of the non-executive director as a senior independent non-executive director. Normally, non-executive directors are part-timer. But in a company, there should be a full-time senior independent non-executive director who should remain in the company all the time for shareholder. So chairman should ensure there is a senior independent non-executive director full-time available in the company for shareholder. And if company cannot afford his cost, normally the chairman also work as a senior independent non-executive director as well, being a leader of non-executive director. And chairman have to write his statement in annual reports as well. This is also his responsibility. So what are the role of chairman? To lead the board meetings, to make sure every director is having complete, timely, accurate information about board decisions. He must effectively communicate with shareholders. He should make sure that non-executive directors are contributing properly. He should set agenda and chair all board meetings. He should hold meetings with the non-executive directors to assess executive directors' performance and CEO performance. And he should make sure there is a senior independent non-executive director available in the company. What are the roles of CEO? To run the company mean take responsibility for the performance of the company. Report his work to the chairman and board of directors. Manage company financial and physical resources mean managing asset of the company. Build and maintain effective team of executive directors. Put adequate risk management system mean directors should implement internal control system in the company. To implement internal control system in the company is a responsibility of CEO. Internal control system mean risk system in the company. And to represent the company to major supplier, customer, and professional association mean outside the company. Who will represent the company? CEO. Because he is a leader of the company, and outside people want to talk, want to have connection with the leader only. They don't want to discuss things with the lower level people. So who will represent the company with suppliers, with banker, with major customers, with any other organization? CEO is responsible to represent the company outside business. So we need to learn some role of chairman and role of CEO. We need to learn some role of non-executive directors, role of nomination committee, role of remuneration committee, role of audit committee, and role of risk committee. Examiner could set any of the requirement relating to role of chairman, CEO, NED, or any of the committee. What else we are having in corporate governance? So if we Go forward from chapter 1. See what we have covered. So in chapter 1, this area we have covered, this is just reading. This is just reading. There are different concepts of corporate governance. What is meant by honesty? What is meant by honesty? What is meant by honesty? Straightforward, telling the truth, not being involved in passing a wrong statement mean director should be honest. What is meant by accountability? Answerability mean directors are answerable regarding every decision they make towards their shareholder. Independence without any pressure mean company management need to make decision independently. And to enhance the independence of management, corporate governance require inclusion of independent non-executive director. Responsibility mean management responsible regarding performance of the company. If company suffered any loss due to bad act of any employee, who is responsible for that? Directors. Because shareholder have handed over their company to directors to manage it. It's on director whether they will manage a company by themselves or appointing any other employee. If any other employee is performing properly or not, who should monitor, who should check? Directors. So regarding company performance, whole board of directors are responsible. They cannot transfer this responsibility to any other party. Decision making judgment mean management need to make a decision for the business, and in decision making there could be some judgment involved, mean future guessing in planning. They need to maintain a good repute of the company so that company share price should be maintained. There should be integrity, mean honest, straightforward dealing. They should be fair with all the stakeholders. Meanwhile, making a decision, they should consider best for all rather than best of themselves. And they should be transparent, open. Mean not only they need to provide mandatory disclosure, they need to provide voluntary disclosures as well. Mean these are different concepts. From here onward, this agency theory we haven't covered so far. We will cover in future. This transaction cost theory, stakeholder theory, we will cover in future. This chapter 2 we have covered complete. Mean there are different courses relating to directors, role of non-executive directors. There is detail of committees. So we have covered everything relating to chapter 2. We have covered everything relating to chapter 3, directors remuneration as well. Mean what is the role of remuneration committee? What are the reward package elements? Who set non-executive director remuneration? Who set non-executive director remuneration? Board as a whole. Board as a whole. And we have covered investors, activism, shareholder activism, AGM versus EGM, proxy voting, disclosures. Mean chapter 4 till chapter 4 we have covered, except last part of chapter 1. In chapter 1, there are two topics left, agency theory and transaction cost theory. Chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4 we have covered, and we have covered 3 questions till now. Now, part A, B, C. We have covered Tomato Bank, part A, B complete. And we have covered CPT, part A only. So try to solve these 3 questions before moving to next class. I'm winding up here. Remaining thing we will discuss from next class onward. See you in next class. Leaving 60 minutes early. We'll take back on any other day.